You have any questions? There's stuff that you want to learn about, know about, discover, uncover, unblock, work around, figure out, whatever that looks like for you on the entrepreneurial journey, then there's people here that care. There's people here that want you to be successful, that want you to improve. So this section is going to be, it's going to be quite casual, quite informal. I'm still learning how to figure out this technology that we're using to go live, so bear with me. It'll run for around about the next 2 hours. There may be some people dropping in for conversation. There may be things that go on and happen and occur in that entrepreneurial day, that entrepreneurial journey that we're all on. And I'm no different to you. I'm on it exactly the same, right? So let's experience and learn and grow together. That's the plan. So I'm going to share a little piece with you in a second that changed everything for me as an entrepreneur. And before I do, it started in 2013 when my business went bust, collapsed. It was a business, it was an e-commerce business, an online business that was turning over around about £4 million a year. So about $5.5 million. We had 30 staff. We had a lovely big building that we owned, and it was flying, right? And then it went bust and failed, and the whole world collapsed for me. That was an interesting time. And when I think about it now, I still feel, oh man, pain, the pain of what that was like for me. That was in 2013. That was 6 years ago. And although that could be viewed as a cataclysmic life event, a negative life event, I see it as the thing, the opportunity, the thing that made me get to the place where I am at today. So for 3 years after that, I was like fumbling around, trying to make ends meet. I had 3 jobs. I used to teach jujitsu at a school. I was a network operator. I was a marketing manager for a martial arts organization, did all kinds of stuff. And I was doing the freelance thing as a side hustle, bit of consulting, a bit of website design, a bit of the usual, like a marketing agency. I've got a master's in marketing. I used to lecture in marketing for the Chartered Institute of Marketing, the CIM in the UK. So I know quite a bit about marketing, right? But none of it worked. All the time was spent paying bills, putting food on the table, making sure I didn't lose the things that I hadn't managed to lose when I lost the business. And it was tough. But then in 2016, so 3 years further down the line, I had a realization, a dawning realization. And it was this. I thought to myself, what if I could create a business around a conversation? Because the thing that I love to do is to help people and see the lights come on in people's eyes as they have an epiphany, as they realize that they can be the person they seek to become, that they can make a difference, that they can understand. Perhaps it came from an earlier experience of teaching. Used to teach martial arts. Love that sense of martial arts is very physical and moving and body mechanics oriented. So if somebody doesn't get a move, they're like robotic with it and stuff like that. You have to physically help them to learn the muscle memory to be able to do the martial arts techniques. And when they get it, it's like, oh, I get it. That same, I get it. Is the thing that really lights me up inside when I see and experience that in others. And so back 2016, I had an epiphany and where I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if my day is spent helping people have those aha moments? That was 3 years ago. And here I am today with a thriving coaching business where I coach people to become the people that they seek to become, to make a difference in the world with what they do, to live the entrepreneurial dream. And we say dream loosely because it's hard work. Let's be real. It's not a dream, it's not a sit up and watch the cash roll in kind of a gig. It's not that. It's people who want to make a difference. It's people who want to make a change, a positive change in the world, actually stepping out and making that change. And I'll tell you right now, it was very hard for me to press the go live button on this broadcast today because it feels uncomfortable. It makes you feel nervous. It makes me feel, oh, I can't do that. I'm on my own, right? There's nobody else here. It's just me. And it's tough. But you do it anyway. You do it anyway. You do it because you are compelled to make that difference. You're compelled to have that impact in the lives of other people. Just think about that for a second. So with that said, one of the things that's so important for you to realize is what that reason is for you. Why are you pursuing entrepreneurship? Why are you creating a business? Why are you doing what it is that you do in entrepreneurship? What's driving you? And this is funny because I've had people say to me, "But Colin, I just want to fill my bank account and you know pay for my house and stay afloat. I'm doing it for money." And that's okay. That's okay too. Because guess what? We've all got to eat. We've all got to pay our bills. We've all got to put clothes on and survive and live. And that's okay. That's okay. But even in that, who are you doing that for? Loved ones, children, family, friends, people around you. It's not all about you, okay? Not always. So there are reasons behind the reasons. There are layers to all of this. And I came across something that I want to share with you now that was really quite pivotal for me. It was really quite instrumental in all of this, in figuring out all of that idea of a business around a conversation. And I didn't know what it was at the time. I'd never heard of it. I kind of stumbled across it in a roundabout way, as we do as we're learning our way through this journey. And it's a Japanese concept called ikigai. I'll show you what it looks like in a second. But it's effectively, it means reason for being, and it's finding what your reason for being is. And I worked out a little model that I call the two circles model for helping people to figure out what that thing is for them. Not only to figure out what the thing is that lights you up, the thing that you are amazing at, the thing that your gift that you bring to the world, but also how that translates into a market, a niche. You hear so many times, don't you? You've got to have a niche. You've got to have a focus. You've got to niche down. You've got to be, you've got to be focused with who you serve. You can't serve everybody and all of these things. And to a degree, they're true. But actually, it's more about matching your genius to the people that would value that. And this will play out in a second. I'm going to share something around that shortly. So the sense of ikigai, let me see if I can get the screen on. Give me a sec. Let's see if we can figure this out. Hey, we got there in the end. Thank you for bearing with me as I figure out this new technology. All good fun. So this is the concept of ikigai, and it's about finding I suppose they call it your center, right? Finding the thing that drives you, your reason for being, finding balance, harmony in what you do, who you are, and how you do it. It's quite complex, that. quite a complicated drawing. And like I say, when I did the stuff that I do with clients, I hadn't even heard of that. So my process looks like this. And it's based on the same principle of ikigai, but it gets you to ask two questions. Super simple. I get my clients to draw this out on a piece of paper or however, whatever works for you, in a notepad or whatever. And in the first circle, you ask the question, why do I do what I do? What lights me up? What am I amazing at? What have I done my 10,000 hours at? What would I spring out of bed every single day if that was what I got to do? What would that be? What's that for you? What is that thing for you? That first question really does drive who you are as a human being. That first question really gives you center, surety, certainty, resilience out in the world. Because like Rocky said in Rocky 5, in that famous speech to his son, right? The world will beat you down. The world will keep on hitting. The world, nobody hits harder than life. So having that resilience is critical for you to keep getting up, for you to keep fighting and keep going. So in the first circle, what is that thing that lights you up? What is the thing that drives you? What is the thing that gets you excited? What are you good at? What does the perfect day look like for you? Often we get trapped in the things that we do, the things that we are doing, without even stopping to pause and figure these things out, to give them the attention that they deserve, because they are the key to engineering the life of your dreams, the life that you deserve, the life that you want to live. What does it look like? How can we make something that we haven't designed or defined? We don't know. So once you've played with that and got a sense of the things that you're amazing at, your zone of genius, the thing that you love. So one of the examples in that column for me was this idea of a conversation. Oh, I love to have a conversation. Yeah, I've got some marketing skills. I love to help people. I'm good with systems. I'm good with this. I'm good with that. And man, if I just got to help people all day long in conversation about the thing that I love, my wife laughs at me, right? Because we will uh, be reading, and she'll have a novel, a fiction work or something, and I'm sat there with this big brick of a book, right? A big textbook you can't see, but they're all on the shelf at the back. And I'll have this big brick of a textbook that I'm reading, I, drop it on my face and smash my nose, right? Because I love this stuff. I love to devour and read and learn and be immersed in this stuff. I love it. So to be able to interpret all of that and show people what that means for them in their life, that's the thing that's in my why circle. Helping others to be a better version of themselves. The vehicle I do that with is marketing. What's that for you? What is that for you? That's the question. So here's the thing, right? Once you've done that piece, and only once you've done that piece, don't skip it. Only once you've done that piece, can you then say, okay, who would value those things? Who would value the things that I am amazing at? Who would value the things that I love to do? And this is where a lot of people go wrong in marketing in general, right? Oh, we've got to define an avatar. We've got to have a persona, an empathy map, all of these cool things. Don't worry if you don't even know what they are. It's fine. but you've got to have this focus, this niche, and all of that cool stuff. And we go blind into it without even considering the reason, the ikigai, the reason for our being. And let's face it, we could have 1 million clients now. If it's doing work that we hate to do, if it's doing things that we hate to do, if it's doing things that really just don't fulfill us, then is it worth it? Yeah, I have 1 million clients paying me money. Yeah, it'd be great. Well, listen, I had a successful online business that was turning over £4 million a year. All the cool things, and did it light me up? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed everything that came with it. Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't. But it didn't fulfill me in the same way that doing something that matches my why does. So who would value it? And if you think about this from a practical standpoint, you're now getting a steer, a guide that points towards the types of people that would be your ideal client. And this exercise works whether you listen, this exercise works whether you are just starting out or you are an established 7, 8 figure business. It doesn't matter. This process works. So, and just a note on that, the why can be your brand reason for being as well, right? So we can do this on a personal and a group corporate kind of level. I'm talking right now personal, about to the individual entrepreneur, of course, but the process is the same. So when we answer the question, who would value that, you're able to do something quite interesting, quite insightful. You're able to get a steer on who your ideal clients are, which is now a really useful starting point for doing the work to understand your ideal clients, rather than just going, oh, I need to have a niche. Let's pick hairdressers. I need a niche. Let's pick orthodontists, right, or whatever. And I'm just randomly saying things off the top of my head. But the whole thing about this is that you don't randomly pick stuff off the top of your head. You match it. You match it. Not only you match the right people to the right skills, right? And it's this thing in marketing, what we call product market fit. That's where I got this idea from the 2 circles from, before I even knew that ikigai existed. And so the important part in this is the overlap in the middle, where the 2 circles merge and you've got that overlap highlighted in purple. And in that overlap, we ask probably one of the most important questions you can ask in your business. And it's not what you do. It's not your products. It's not all of that nonsense. Nonsense. I say it a bit flippantly, right? It's important, of course, but not paramount. Thank you, Laurie, for that word. The most important question is, what problem could you solve for those people who would value the things that you're amazing at? So it brings together here, it brings together really the whole picture, because you're able to have an idea of how you could potentially design a business if you haven't got one, how potentially you can introduce new products into your value ladder. That's an important term. We'll come back to that as well during future sessions. How you can create an offering, not for creating an offering's sake. Oh, I want to create a product. I want to create a course. I want to create a membership. All of those things. Forget that. We're creating a solution to a problem. Let that sink in, because that is so, so important. We're creating a solution to a problem. That's what you're doing in business. The Chartered Institute of Marketing in the UK, the CIM, their definition of marketing is the identification and satisfaction of needs profitably. That's it. That's the whole definition of marketing. So those needs are defined by the problems that people face. What are those problems that you can solve for people who would value that with your skill, with the thing that you are amazing at? What is that for you? What could that be? What might that look like? And here's a little thing with this. I uh, I can be a pain to some people because I'm a little bit like a child, right? And I'll go, let's play. Let's play. Let's play. I like to think I've created what I call an anti-business business because I hate business, right? The whole like business pinstripe suits and very serious and yes, let's make lots of money, and it's all about the money and screw people. We don't care, we just care about the money and filling the bank and the bottom line and the profit and the rest of it doesn't matter. We treat people like crap. We do all of this nonsense and people, humanity, connection goes out of the window. Yeah, it's important to make money. Yeah, it's important to be profitable. Yeah, it's important for all the numbers to add up. Not discounting that. I'm just kind of easing in a way of doing business a little bit differently. Anti-business, as I call it. And part of that is having fun. Having fun. Having fun. Being playful. So when you do this, don't be serious when you're doing it, right? Have fun. Allow that creative part of your brain, that imagination that you had as a child, allow that to come to the fore. It's okay for you to dream big. It's okay for you to let your imagination run riot. That's okay. You have permission to play. So once you've played a little bit inside of this two circles exercise, you're really able to start, well, three things really, three things. You're able to get the beginnings. Let me stop sharing. Hold on. Stop sharing. There we go. So you're able to get the beginnings of what drives you as a human being. Why do you do what you do? What's important to you? What are they? Do you know what they are right now? What are they? And then it allows you to match that gift, that genius with people that would value it. Not people that don't care, people that would value it, people that would pay for you to solve their problems. And what are those problems? That's the third bit. What are those problems? What do they look like? And how can you create solutions to those problems? Then you can start orchestrating things like what those solutions look like, the product itself or the service itself or services or products or whatever that looks like. That comes later. That comes later. Okay. But you get the beginnings there of the clarity and the focus that you need to really knock it out of the park as an entrepreneur, to really and truly make a difference and be true to who you are, to what lights you up, to the reason you do what you do. What is that? Are you clear about that? If we were stood face to face right now and I said, hey, what do you do? Could you answer me in one sentence? 2 sentences, 10 seconds, go. Not a long time, 10 seconds, is it? So in order to be able to answer that question in that window, you've got to be so switched on. You've got to have done that work, that reflective work of the 2 circles so that you're crystal clear on why you do what you do. So that you're crystal clear on that thing that drives you as a human being, as a professional, as a person. When you're clear on that, when you're like crystal clear on that, that's when amazing things start to happen. Because you then are no longer saying, hey, help everybody to do everything. The amount of times I've heard that, right? Who's your client? Who do you serve? What do you do? Oh, help everybody. And how can you help them? Oh, everything to do with this. That's not the way to resonate. That's not the way to change the world with what you do. You have to have a mission. You have to have a why. In business school, we learn about a company's mission and values and core objectives and all of those things. The same is true for us, each and every one of us. What's your mission? What's your why? What are your values? What's important to you? So for me, it was about love, compassion, service, and that drives my desire to want to help people. My skills are marketing. The people that would value that are typically people trying to do the online marketing thing, coaches, consultants, influencers, people trying to make an impact online, but failing because they don't understand the marketing or they don't have time to understand the marketing. My 10,000 hours is in that, right? That's my skill. So the people that would value that, the problems that I can solve for them is basically allowing them the platform to change the world with what they do without having to do it all themselves. It's allowing them the freedom to focus on their zone of genius whilst all of that stuff that they don't understand is taken care of. That's the problem I solved. That was an example of how my 2 circles exercise played out. So in that, can you see now how there is a very succinct and distinct, succinct, distinct, kind of samey words, aren't they? But there is a very succinct and distinct focus for why I do what I do, the type of people I help, equally the type of people I don't help, and that's okay. But the problems that I solve for those guys and how that then translates into products. The whole business is in those 2 circles. The future of everything that you do and everything that you will do can be found inside of those 2 circles. So play with the exercise. Have fun with the exercise, remember, and figure out what that ikigai, that reason for being is for you. Figure that out. Hey, Shashir, good to see you, man. Figure that out. You owe it not only to yourself and to the people that rely and depend upon you, you owe it to the people that are desperate to hear your message. You owe it to the people that need to hear and know the things that you know, that need to be helped in the areas that you can help. So what is that? What does that look like? What's your mission? What's your why? Figure that out. Figure that out. And then be brave enough to put it out into the world. Be brave enough to commit to it. be brave enough to follow it, even when the flaming arrows come flying in at you, especially then. Because do you know what? Once you are sure and certain on your reason for being, your ikigai, then those flaming arrows can't impact you. You're impervious, right? Like the Roman army with their shields, how they would all kind of tilt their shields upwards and make like a tortoise shell hardened thing. The arrows come down and they just bounce away. The same will be true of you when you have that focus, that surety and certainty of who you are, of what drives you, of who would value that, and what problems you can solve for those people.